Today we're diving into something that's recently blown up online. Ashton Hall's extreme morning routine. Ashton is a fitness influencer, online coach who's gotten a ton of attention for his, let's just say, intense start to the day. His routine's gone viral, especially on TikTok, riding the wave of those alpha male morning rituals. You've seen the type: cold plunges, 4 a.m. wake-ups, self-mastery vibes, but even by those standards, Ashton takes things up a notch. Some people dunk their face in an ice bath. Ashton dunks in bottled spring water with lemon. Some people jog in the morning. Ashton, he's sprinting full speed, next to a camera crew filming him from a moving car. See what I mean? Everything is just a bit extra. Sure, the premise is admirable. Daily discipline, self-improvement, physical mastery. I mean, he's clearly fit, successful, and on the surface, looks pretty healthy. But let's take a closer look. Is this actually effective, backed by science, or just a really well-edited hype video?
Bro, the Rice Krispie just gets my workout going and the pump is crazy.
To be fair, this is part of his brand, an ideal lifestyle he's promoting and maybe chasing himself. And honestly, props to the consistency. Still, is it realistic or even necessary for most people? So today we're breaking it all down. What's legit, what's a little extra, and what's just straight up Instagram theater? Let's get to it.
I don't rely on motivation. I rely on habits. Every rep is a choice to be better than I was yesterday.
Okay, so let's set the tone here. Ashton wakes up shortly before 4 a.m. every single morning, bro. Now, I wake up pretty early too, usually around 5 o'clock to get to the hospital, so I get it. I know what it's like to be up before the sun, and to be honest, waking up early every single day is not my most favorite activity, but you get used to doing it, and you can truly get a lot done before most people are even dreaming of waking up in the morning, so it does have its benefits. But here's the difference. When I get up, it's straight to work. Ashton, when he gets up, he goes into this super meticulous step-by-step ritual, like a carefully crafted launch sequence to start his day with intention. Some of what he does is just normal stuff. Brushing your teeth, shaving your face, pretty standard. Other things like hitting a steam room or fitting in a solid workout before breakfast, that sounds nice. But for a lot of people, it feels unrealistic before a 9 to 5.
It's already 8:30 a.m. and he's only just having a shower. Like, most people probably start work at 9 a.m. and it's too late for this shit. And he's already spent 6 hours dilly-dallying around when he could have done all of this in like 2 hours.
One thing we have to remember is that Ashton's an entrepreneur. And while that comes with its own set of challenges, it also gives him the luxury of setting his own schedule. That freedom can be risky if you're not disciplined, but Ashton, he's clearly on the other end of that spectrum. Maybe even too far, depending on how you see it. But hey, it seems to work for him. Being an entrepreneur is all about prioritizing. And for Ashton, these steps, every last one, are the priorities. That's why he's up so early, to make sure he gets them all in.
Everyone sees the routine, but people don't see the reason behind the routine.
Who knows? Maybe he'd still be doing this even if he had an office job.
This is why I have a routine. I'm done missing opportunities. You can be too.
But although I kid, I'm not mocking getting up early. The early bird gets the worm, right? And for Ashton, this early start is his way of charging up before life starts throwing punches. And yeah, waking up at 3:50 a.m. sounds intense, but only if you assume he's going to bed at midnight. Spoiler, he's not. Ashton's lights are out by like 7:30 p.m. Just as most of you are finishing dinner, Ashton's deep into rapid eye movement. By the time your Netflix intro is still buffering, this guy's already dreaming about his next sprint workout. So let's talk about why sleep matters. Because Ashton's not just waking up early, he's putting real intention behind prioritizing sleep. And honestly, he's kind of onto something. As neuroscientist and sleep expert Matt Walker explains,
there is simply no aspect of your wellness that can retreat at the sign of sleep deprivation and get away unscathed.
And sleep isn't just about racking up hours. It's about quality. And when you actually get good, consistent, high-quality sleep, that's when your body kicks into full recovery mode. As evening rolls in, Hormones like melatonin help signal that it's time to sleep and recover, and cortisol, your stress hormone, starts to lower so you can actually chill. Your body starts to wind down.
We're going to use fatigue as our gravity to fall asleep. So the more you can increase your fatigue, the easier it will be to get on a good sleep schedule.
But sleep isn't just when you rest. It's when your body gets to work. Your brain literally starts clearing out waste. Think of it like an overnight cleaning crew, getting rid of all the mental clutter from the day so you can wake up sharper. That's your glymphatic system in action, flushing out junk that builds up while you're awake. And for energy, this is when your cells rebuild their energy stores, replenishing ATP, the fuel your body uses to move, think, and function. And for someone like Ashton who trains hard, sleep is also when your body kicks into muscle repair and protein synthesis. Basically, the gains don't happen in the gym, they happen while you're asleep. And then sleep sets you up for success the following day.
Practice does not make perfect. Practice with a night of sleep is what makes perfect, because you come back the next day and you're 20 to 30% better in terms of your skilled performance than where you were at the end of your practice session the day before.
Wow! Good quality sleep also means better hunger control, because hormones like ghrelin and leptin are restored into balance. Improved blood sugar regulation, hello, insulin, stronger immune system, and reduced risk of things like heart disease and stroke. Oh, and if you've ever heard of beauty sleep, that's real too. Your skin literally repairs itself while you sleep. So Ashton's no late night doom scrolling, no Netflix till 1 a.m. routine actually follows decent sleep hygiene practices, calm evenings, little to no screen time, and a consistent schedule. That alone can be a game changer.
Brother, what do you mean, how do I wake up at 3:50 a.m.? Listen, I go to sleep early because temptation lives late at night. I need you to lock in. Tomorrow, we gotta do at least 10,000.
Now, is 8 o'clock bedtime and a 4 a.m. wake-up call necessary for everyone? Definitely not. But there are some legit benefits to waking up early, especially if you're syncing it with natural light. Catching the sunrise helps regulate your circadian rhythm, your body's internal clock.
At times, all of our physiology and all of our behavior, all of the active sorts of processes are compartmentalized to the day, and all of the restorative processes are kept to the night.
That natural light exposure in the morning stops melatonin production, boosts cortisol just enough to help you feel alert, and kickstarts energy for the day. And a healthy rhythm doesn't just improve energy, it also helps balance your immune system. That's a concept called circadian immunity.
Almost every single gene in our genome turn on and off at different time of the day. Every single hormone and brain chemicals also rise and fall at different time of the day. So to have these rhythms is actually to have health.
Plus, let's be honest, waking up with the natural rhythm of life cuts out so much stress. You're not late before you've even started. No rushing, no scrambling, no playing catch up from minute one. And if you're really early, you've got time to actually think. You're more focused. Your brain's had the chance to fully boot up before life starts throwing notifications at you. That groggy feeling you get when you first wake up, that's called sleep inertia, and it can last for up to 1 hour. So giving yourself that buffer in the morning to ease into the day, it's actually a performance hack.
I call these the 3 M's of a morning routine. The first M is mindfulness, the second M is movement, and the third M is mindset. I'm a huge fan of morning routines because they give you a period of calm in the morning that's just going to make you a bit more resilient to cope with those stresses that will come up in your day. It's not if they're going to come up, they will come up.
And Ashton seems to get that.
Okay, and then between 4:17 and 4:21, he just stands there. 4 whole minutes of standing on his balcony, just still.
His mornings are slow, but intentional. No noise, no chaos, no doom scrolling. Just him doing his thing, building momentum before the world gets loud. Now, not everyone can shift their sleep schedule like that. Maybe you've got a late job, school, kids, or, realistic obligations. But the principles he's using, those are pretty universal. Sleep early, wake up with purpose, avoid screens late, get sunlight early. That's solid, science-backed advice.
And this is perhaps the most important thing, is QQRT, which is quality, quantity, regularity, and timing.
And not to overstate the obvious, but a sleep-wake cycle that syncs with the sun is something our ancestors did naturally. And we've kind of fallen away from it thanks to technology, screens, and late-night culture. We've become a society of overstimulated, restless, anxious people who barely know how to focus. So when Ashton says if you're dealing with a weak mind or lack of productivity, go to bed early, It sounds harsh, but there's truth in that. Because the best version of yourself probably isn't the one scrolling at 2 a.m.
It's a silent sleep loss epidemic, and it is fast becoming one of the greatest public health challenges that we face in the 21st century.
Come to me and they say, listen, I think I have attention deficit or I've got anxiety. I always just say, how's your sleep? You want to always start with sleep. Great sleep makes everything better.
Oh, and one more thing about Ashton's sleep setup that's worth mentioning. He wears nasal strips. Yeah, those things that look like mini band-aids across the bridge of your nose, they're not just for show. They actually work by gently pulling outwards on your nasal passages, opening them up so you can breathe better, especially during sleep.
So it's a bit like doing this. You can breathe a little bit better. Another way to do it is do this. You can just breathe a little bit better.
That can mean less congestion, less snoring, better airflow, and even higher quality sleep. He also uses mouth tape, which might sound weird at first, but the idea is to encourage nasal breathing and prevent mouth breathing overnight. We actually talked about this in the looks maxing video.
The same is true if you are closing your mouth at night to breathe through your nose. Your tongue is going to naturally expand your mouth so that your teeth line up and your jaw becomes the appropriate size.
But it's not just about looks. There are real health implications too. See, the theory is that our modern soft food diets have led to smaller, weaker jaws.
They didn't have orthodontists back then. Our distant ancestors survived a subsistence lifestyle, one that involved immense amount of chewing, rough, raw, unprocessed foods. A stark contrast to today's total average meal time of about 20 to 30 minutes, often with precious little hard chewing.
And this change didn't just affect how our faces formed, it also changed how a lot of us breathe. More people mouth breathe instead of using their noses, and over time that can actually reshape the face further, especially in kids. This can also lead to dental issues, bad breath, and gum problems. And to bring it full circle, it's tied to snoring, sleep apnea, low oxygen levels at night, and fragmented sleep. So encouraging nasal breathing with something as simple as a strip or a bit of tape.
And the reason why I wear this is because I'm a heavy mouth breather. And I was doing more research, the people who are heavy mouth breathers at night, they don't get good sleep.
That might actually help your sleep quality way more than you'd think.
If I just tape my mouth, I think my sleep can get better. I'll probably be breathing throughout my nose a little bit better. I'll break that bad habit. I won't snore anymore. I won't be drooling. So it's not all aesthetics here. It's about function. And Ashton's sleep routine isn't just about going to bed early, it's also about optimizing how he breathes while he sleeps. It's a little much, but a decent idea. I wear it in the gym because I'm a yapper. I like to talk. So now I have this tape over my mouth. I'm breaking a bad habit, and I can't talk to the guy out there who wants to talk. It's like I'm in here for business, bro.
But let's hop out of bed, because that's the point where a lot of the shenanigans start.
Who in their right mind decides to get up at this time in the morning?
Before we get into one of Ashton's more viral habits, face dunking, let's talk about cold exposure in general, because it follows similar principles and he does all of it. Cold exposure, aka cryotherapy, is definitely trendy, but it's not just a trend. Athletes swear by ice baths for recovery, and here's why. When you train hard like Ashton, your muscles develop micro tears. The repair of that damage is how they grow stronger, but it also causes soreness and inflammation. Now, some traditional explanations that claim cold therapy shifts lactic acid away from muscles are outdated. Lactate, often mislabeled as lactic acid, naturally clears within an hour after exercise and isn't a primary cause of soreness. Cold therapy helps by constricting blood vessels, which reduces swelling and dulls pain signals. That chill actually slows local metabolism in your muscles, putting them into a kind of temporary low power mode to curb inflammation and prevent further tissue breakdown, giving your body a head start on recovery. However, some research suggests that too much cold exposure immediately after training might blunt muscle growth, because if you prevent some of that tissue breakdown, you might also interfere with the body's natural process of rebuilding it stronger.
What they did is had participants work out and then submerge one leg into room temperature water. The other one they put into ice water, and they had them drink a protein carbohydrate concoction. And what they found is the one that was submerged in ice water had lower rates of muscle protein synthesis.
That said, the cold-induced constriction is followed by a rebound effect. As you rewarm, blood vessels dilate, increasing circulation. This surge of fresh blood flow may help accelerate recovery by delivering oxygen and nutrients while clearing metabolic byproducts. That's why so many athletes are into it. It just helps them bounce back faster. And aside from workout-related perks, cold shock triggers your body's fight or flight response, which forces it to defend its core temperature, releasing norepinephrine in the process.
Noradrenaline acts on what's called brown fat, a type of fat tissue that keeps you warm by breaking down glucose and fat molecules in the body.
So in theory, it may help boost calorie burn and support metabolic health, which is especially useful for preventing lifestyle-related conditions like diabetes. But cold exposure doesn't just release norepinephrine and raise alertness. It also spikes other neurotransmitters that deliver a jolt of positive energy, both during and after. Your body's like, let's go! Literally.
This dopamine increase from cold immersion is just as high as nicotine or cocaine.
Let's go, baby!
So this is definitely the most natural high you could get.
It also boosts endorphins and helps lower cortisol, the stress hormone, which is why cold exposure may support mental health too.
Give me a sec. All right, bro, y'all ready? Let's get it. Oh yeah. Dig deep. Yeah, dig deep.
Don't think about it. Don't think about it.
Scream that shit out, mother.
Over time, it can help train your body to be more resilient to both physical and emotional stress. That said, I'm not here to sell cold plunges as a medical cure. The research is still catching up. A lot of the benefits are anecdotal or seen in small studies. It still won't replace sleep, nutrition, and actually moving your body. So now, take that same cold exposure concept and shrink it down to Ashton dunking his face in icy, lemony spring water. Similar to an ice bath, dunking your face in cold water triggers blood vessel constriction. This can help reduce puffiness, especially under the eyes. But once your skin starts warming up again, those blood vessels open back up and fresh blood floods in, which may boost circulation and leave your skin looking more refreshed and glowy.
You can do this before an event or before you apply heavy makeup. This can make your makeup appear more flawless.
Some people say it tones the skin and makes pores look smaller. Just to be clear, pores don't actually open or close like doors, but the cold can tighten your skin temporarily, which makes them look smaller.
Because cold water works similar to an astringent, toning your skin and making you look refreshed and younger.
And because cold calms inflammation, it can help reduce redness or soothe acne-prone skin. While some studies show precision cold therapy can help with acne, for something like face dunking, the effects are more temporary and probably a bit overhyped. Overall, most of these skin-boosting benefits of face dunking are temporary. But if you're doing it every day, the short-term effects can stack up. That said, it's definitely not a substitute for real skincare or medical treatments for those that need it. Think of it more like a daily refresh, not a cure-all. For someone like Ashton, who's clearly trying to jolt himself into beast mode the second he wakes up, I guess it makes sense. As I mentioned, the cold shock is kind of like a slap to the nervous system. So overall, you start the day with less stress, more clarity, and a slightly more chiseled jawline.
Why you squeeze the lemon and just chuck it all in? What that? I'm so confused. What's the point of the squeeze?
Not bad. And let's not gloss over what he's dunking his face in and brushing his teeth with. And honestly, what seems to be the only thing he lets near his mouth. Saratoga spring water.
Saratoga water. The bottle is glass. I paid $50 for one. Oh. Wow. Oh.
Now, spring water, also called mineral water, comes from natural underground springs and is packed with minerals like calcium, magnesium, and bicarbonate. When using it for hygienic purposes, it's sometimes said to be gentler on sensitive skin or helps to support the skin barrier. But there's little evidence that the minerals actually penetrate deeply enough to make a real difference, especially with quick face dunks like Ashton's.
Cheers, the most expensive water in the world.
But when it comes to drinking it, it's not just about hydration. Some studies show it can support digestion, bone health, and even heart and metabolic health, depending on the mineral content. Calcium-rich water, for example, can be just as effective as milk for strengthening bones. Magnesium-rich waters may help with constipation, and some mineral waters may even support lower blood pressure or improve insulin sensitivity.
Days of the Roman Republic. The water is said to dissolve kidney stones, wipe away wrinkles, relieve arthritis and gout, and generally put a spring back in your step.
Of course, we don't need to drink high-end bottled spring water to be healthy. But when it's naturally rich in helpful minerals, it might offer more than just aesthetic appeal. But the most important thing, we need to make sure we're drinking water, period, and lots of it.
Staying hydrated is a critical component of not only staying healthy, but of performance.
And speaking of water, Ashton's just as intentional about what he eats. Now, aside from his cheat days where he basically goes mukbang with full pizzas, KFC, biscuits, the works, his regular meals are actually pretty dialed in. Breakfast is usually something like eggs and bacon, maybe avocado toast, sometimes fruit, pretty reasonable. He's hitting protein, healthy fats, complex carbs, and fiber. Covers all the major macros. And from his other meals, he doesn't seem like one of those brown rice, plain chicken, zero salt types. They're definitely clean, but still human. Decent portions, sometimes a little upscale flair, but nothing wild. I'm not gonna dive too deep into nutrition today, but obviously he prioritizes protein. Because with the amount he works out, he has to. All that sprinting, jumping, boxing, that breaks muscle tissue down. And muscle only grows back stronger if you feed it the right building blocks, which is protein. From meat to shakes, whatever it is, he's clearly keeping the supply coming. That said, it doesn't feel like he's trying to bulk like a mass monster bodybuilder would. More like he's maintaining a strong muscular frame. He basically eats like an athlete. Now, the most rage bait part of it, it's not the food, it's how the food arrives.
Some people might say, why do you need a lady to hand everything to you? You've done nothing all morning.
A woman's hands gently slide the plate into frame and basically tuck his napkin in like he's royalty. When he's done with his morning banana, he doesn't just toss the peel like the rest of us, he wipes it on his face.
No, he doesn't! Shut up! Yeah, whatever. Yeah, stop it. No, you do not. You do not rub.
Yeah, banana peel on his face. Come on, bro. Now, TikTok swears this is a skincare miracle, claiming it reduces wrinkles, dark circles, puffiness, the works.
If you rub that skin on your face, no, you do not. So he chucks the banana and just gets the skin. Stop it. No, you do not.
Banana peels contain antioxidants like vitamin C, which can help fight oxidative stress, the stuff that damages skin cells and speeds up aging. Holistic plastic surgeon Dr. Anthony Yuan swears by it for acne.
And there are actually a lot of soothing elements. There are antioxidants and there are fatty acids that will actually soothe the skin. Now, acne is essentially an inflammatory type of process.
But here's the thing. While there is vitamin C and other antioxidants in banana peels, some dermatologists say the concentration is likely too low to have any real effect, in comparison to skincare products formulated for that specifically. Plus, unless you're washing the peel first, there's always a risk of skin irritation from leftover pesticides or bacteria. So, maybe not the worst thing in the world, but probably not skincare magic either. So, after the banana peel facial, what's next? A steam room or sauna, of course, because why stop at antioxidant fruit when you can sweat out your toxins in style? Now, steam bathing isn't new. It's ancient, actually. The Greeks and Romans were into it way before TikTok. Indigenous cultures around the world have used steam and sweat rituals for centuries. And in Finland, saunas are basically a national treasure.
Du kan til sauna? Ja.
Whether it's a dry sauna or a steam room, these traditions have stuck around for a reason. But here's where we gotta clear the air. Literally. People love to throw around the word detox, and both saunas and steam rooms get pulled into that conversation a lot. But medically speaking, your liver and kidneys are your real detox MVPs. Sweating in heat doesn't flush out toxins the way Instagram might suggest, but the thermoregulatory effects do offer legit health benefits, especially when it comes to recovery and overall well-being.
So you're gonna raise your core temperature between 1 and 2 degrees depending on a whole host of factors, but these heat shock proteins are designed to repair cellular damage and reduce the stress, the cellular stress that is put on your body by heat.
When it comes to perks, let's start on the surface. The heat and sweating promotes the movement of water through your pores, helping cleanse the skin and leaving it smoother. The removal of impurities some people associate with detoxing. It also loosens mucus, which can be a game changer if you've got allergies or congestion. But the biggest wins? Better circulation and muscle relaxation. Heat dilates your blood vessels, boosting blood flow and temporarily lowering blood pressure. That means more oxygen and nutrients get delivered to your muscles and joints. Great for easing workout-related soreness and stiffness.
Participants that used a sauna or a steam room for 30 minutes 2 times per week saw a dramatic increase in their endurance threshold.
It also gives your nervous system a moment to reset. The calm, quiet heat lowers cortisol, the stress hormone that when chronically high can throw off everything from sleep to metabolism. And just like the cold, heat exposure can increase norepinephrine, both as a neurotransmitter in the brain, sharpening focus and alertness, and as a hormone in the body, which may give your metabolism a subtle kick. So it isn't just about chilling out, it's about recalibrating. Ashton's workouts are, well, not for the faint of heart. A bit of a pun intended, because he's pushing his body to the max with everything from sprinting to boxing.
Such a peaceful looking gym. It's 6:30 a.m. and you just walk in and you just hear this fucking thumping over and over again.
This guy goes hard. When it comes to his training, sprint interval training, SIT, is one of his go-to methods. Now, for those who aren't familiar, sprint interval training involves short bursts of all-out sprints, anywhere from 10 to 30 seconds, followed by a rest period. You repeat this a few times, and the results are pretty impressive. Research shows that just 2 to 6 weeks of sprint interval training can seriously level up your endurance by boosting skeletal muscle oxidative capacity and increasing VO2 max. Translation, your body's oxygen delivery system gets a tune-up, letting your muscles work harder without hitting the wall so fast. There's also evidence that SIT and other HIIT workouts boost metabolic health.
How our body uses our fuel stores. It gets used up by the muscles as we work. When we do such high intense training like in HIIT workouts, we actually increase our insulin sensitivity. So our body's much more ready to take up glucose that's in the blood.
Now, high-intensity training is undeniably efficient. It's fantastic for performance, speed, power, and muscle gains, with clear cardiovascular and metabolic benefits. But here's the caveat. When we focus on health and longevity, those short, intense bursts alone aren't enough. The real key, regular, consistent movement throughout the day. Walking, stretching, staying active, which is far more critical for long-term benefits like blood sugar control and insulin regulation. Dan Butner, who studies centenarians, people who live to be 100, discovered that most people who live the longest don't actually exercise intentionally.
Well, it's much better to think about walking on a daily basis, riding your bike, or playing pickleball once in a while. That strategy is much more likely to get you 100 than pumping iron or running marathons.
So while Ashton's workouts definitely pack a punch, their effectiveness could be limited if the rest of the day is spent being sedentary.
It's 4 or 7. When you're actually doing the exercises and like doing the actual routine, you realize how long and stretched out the routine is. This did not have to be 17 minutes long. I'm out here sitting in the darkness.
He's often on his computer talking to clients, handling business, and driving around. We don't really see him out there getting in consistent movement like just taking walks or active breaks.
It just makes you realize how slow this guy does everything. So I just have to sit here. It's time to journal, but just on the first page.
Heck, even his clothes seem to magically appear through the hands of some mysterious assistant. And I'm pretty sure other simple tasks are handled by the team too.
Dear Ashton Hall, I don't think you're very good at time management. Why can you run so fast, but everything you do is so slow?
But knowing his always on the go vibe, I'll give him the benefit of the doubt and assume he stays moving in between the desk work, even if it's still not always visible.
I've almost been awake for 2 hours now, and I feel like for the last 2 hours, I've just been diddly-daddly.
Thank you. This has probably felt like one of the most productive mornings of my life, but I've kind of done nothing.
And Ashton doesn't just focus on his physical health, he also makes time for his mental and spiritual well-being. He prioritizes his faith daily.
He slides the Holy Bible in front of him, looks at it, says, "F*** that," and then walks away.
He also reads a ton of self-help books too, and I know those can get a bad rap, especially in the hands of an alpha male type, but hey, at least he's reading and actively working on himself. Plus, he journals, which is genuinely great.
Dude, that's the first page of the diary. Every day I wake up and journal, but I don't live in the past. I live in the present. And a present to myself every day is a new diary.
Journaling's been shown to improve focus, mental clarity, emotional regulation, and can even help with goal setting and self-awareness.
I spend so much money every year on these damn diaries. My Amazon delivery driver hates me.
Gratitude journaling in particular can be very beneficial for both body and mind. Everything from improving general states of happiness to reducing anxiety, improving relationships.
All of this sets the tone for his day in a quiet, introspective, and thoughtful way. Definitely different from rolling out of bed and diving straight into the chaos of the day like a lot of us do. When you start the day like that, it's way easier to stay grounded and prepared for whatever comes next.
When I cut out all of the noise and went all in on my goal and my dream, this is when I blew up.
So, to sum it all up, while Ashton's morning routine might be a bit much for most people, there are definitely some solid takeaways. The real win here is having a consistent ritual that prioritizes self-care and gets your mind and body in the right gear from the jump. Whether it's getting quality sleep, waking up early, exercising, eating well, or tending to your mental health, these are habits that genuinely support a healthier life. Now, sure, some of the other stuff, it's definitely a little extra. Maybe even exaggerated in how essential it seems. But hey, most of it won't hurt, and some of it might actually help, depending on how it fits into your own life. And yes, Ashton definitely stylizes the whole thing for attention.
100%, I'm a marketing genius.
But the irony is, the attention kind of holds him accountable. And at the end of the day, he's actually doing it. You don't have to go full beast mode to start your day off right. But finding a routine that works for you, one that balances physical, mental, and emotional well-being, is a powerful way to start. Thanks for taking the time to check out Ashton Hall's morning routine with me. Let me know what you think. Do you think it's all hype? Or is there anything of value? If you learned anything in this video, then leave a comment and give it a big thumbs up to feed the algorithm. Be sure to let me know exactly what you enjoyed in the comments. Our team is working towards a goal of 1 million subs, and we would love to have you with us when we get there. Don't forget to follow my gym, Human 2.0 Fitness, for free right here on YouTube, where we post content that helps you move better and prevent injury. Or its sister channel, Human at Home, where we show you how to be healthy in the space where you live. Otherwise, as always, that's been a word from Dr. Chris Raynor, not your everyday ortho, where we see one, do one, teach one.